The defense lawyer of Patrice Nganang, Barrister Emmanuel Sim, has outrightly denounced what he called crooked justice system in Cameroon from the time that his client was arrested till his expulsion. That was yesterday in the nation's capital. The legal mind said that the justice system in Cameroon needs to sit up if it intends to cleanse its image, that is in the national, across the national territory and out of Cameroon. And contract teachers who are still waiting to be integrated by the government of Cameroon have said that abandoning lecture halls when classes resume come second term for the 2017-2018 academic year is going to be an option come January. Plus, we are going to be talking about an alleged coup d'etat in Equatorial Guinea that has so far been thwarted. Those are headlines. Stay with us for the details. We shall be right back. Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the primetime newscast on Equinox television. If the government of Cameroon wants to clean the image of the justice system, it's supposed to sit up and especially clean its image in the international scene. That is the word of the defense lawyer of Patrice Nganang, Barrister Emmanuel Sim, that was speaking shortly after the release and expulsion of his client from the nation's capital and from Cameroon. That was yesterday. The lawyer of Patrice Nganang has criticized what he called the crooked justice system in Cameroon and the manner in which his client's case was handled. Barrister Emmanuel Sim said that the arrest of the civil society activist, the poet and writer, was illegal because his whereabouts remained unknown for about 48 hours after he was arrested on the 6th of December 2017. Barrister Emmanuel Sim said that Patrice Nganang was not given or provided basic needs like water, amongst others, during his period, or this period that is within the 48 hours that he was detained. He said that the relatives of Patrice Nganang were equally denied access into the detention center, or where he was being held for about 1 week in the nation's capital. From his arrest to expulsion, his lawyer described the series of events as proof of a country with no peace or respect of rule of law. Those were the declarations of the defense lawyer, Barrister Emmanuel Sim, the defense lawyer of the writer and actor of the civil society as well as political activist Patrice Nganang, that was released yesterday and expelled out of Cameroon. And we now talk about the reaction of the Communication Minister, Issa Shirma Bakari, in a press declaration that was yesterday, described Patrice Nganang as a lawbreaker who has so far benefited from the generosity of the President of the Republic. Issa Shirma Bakari said that the withdrawal of the passport of the civil society activist and his expulsion from Cameroon are legal moves by the government of Cameroon. We now talk about the very sad incident. The decomposed body of a man was discovered in an abandoned structure in the Edea Ebolova 2 subdivision, while in the south region of Cameroon. The man whose name we got as Minyena was discovered missing about 4 days before the macabre discovery. Details with Smart Njikan Gabriel.
It was at this abandoned Ebolova 2 council building that the discovery was done. Mintiene, as he was fondly called, is about 50 years old, and he has been involved in an accident some 4 months back, which rendered him quasi-disabled and jobless. We have been told that it was because of the lack of finance that he decided to squat in the building for the past 4 months. For this, after he wasn't seen, the pungent smell from the building made people in the neighborhood to discover the already decomposed body. Mintiene's cousin tells us it is not up to a month that I learnt about his involvement in an accident, but since then, efforts making him to return to the village has failed, as sanitary officials struggle to make a way with the body. The divisional officer of Ebolova 2, who also descended to the scene, called for vigilance.
Nous voulons tout simplement appeler la population à plus de vigilance, surtout attirer leur attention sur les relations qu'ils sont appelés à entretenir avec le voisinage.
It was the fifth case of decomposed body that was discovered in Ebolova 2 in the space of 3 months.
We remain in the south region. This time around, we talk about the situation in QC. 31 persons were caught with dozens of arms and munitions in QC, that is in the south region, the border locality between Cameroon and other CEMAC countries, and they are under custody. The armed individuals were reportedly on a mission to Equatorial Guinea to eject the president, Obia Ngema, from power. According to reports equally say that the operation was spearheaded by a general whose identity up to now remains unknown. The general is from Equatorial Guinea. Several other alleged coup plotters who are said to be Ghanaian citizens, as well as others from the Central African Republic, are currently on the run. We obviously will be telling you more on that in our subsequent newscast. We now take you to the east region of Cameroon to take a look at the precarious conditions, especially the precarious learning conditions of refugees, especially those of the refugee camps. Katrin Kone paints the picture further in the following story.
The teaching and learning conditions in the refugees camp of the east region of Cameroon is a bitter pill to swallow by local authorities. In the start of the school year, classrooms are overpopulated because of the huge presence of children of refugees from the Central African Republic. According to the teacher, the school lacks teachers and the classrooms are overcrowded with 270 children in a classroom, making work tedious for the teachers. The refugees' children are only present during examination period, after which they are off to help themselves by engaging in subsistence means of livelihood. These children, according to their teachers, are paramount in the economic sustainability of their families.
De pêche, comme actuellement nous sommes en pleine période de pêche, les parents retirent les enfants et les amènent dans les campagnes pour la pêche.
She says, during the fishing and farming period, parents take their children from schools and they only return in April, an activity which has negatively affected the academic program of teachers within the refugee camp. With an unstable attendance, teachers are obliged to compressed teaching. Trapped in this situation, the teachers have called on authorities to come to their aid. The number of refugees from Central African Republic in the East region continue to grow, with 160,000 of them present. Their needs are equally growing each day. A good number of these Central African Republic refugees in Cameroon are not registered with the United Nations High Commission. Refugees, with the increasing numbers of problems within the refugees camp in the East region, that of education occupies a central position as the question appears most difficult to solve.
Besides the problem that the refugees are facing as far as learning is concerned, they are equally having the problem of lack of farming or land to carry on their farming activities, as well as potable water. The problems were presented to the Senior Divisional Officer for Kadai Division in the East region of Cameroon during his Meet the People tour. The Senior Divisional Officer reassured the refugee population from the Central African Republic the readiness of the government of Cameroon to tackle these problems. Details with Smart Njikan Gabriel.
Kadai subdivision in the East region is one of the areas where persons fleeing from war in the Central African Republic are concentrated. It is for this reason that Abubakar Iyawa, Senior Divisional Officer for Baturi, made a stopover at the refugee camps to get first-hand information about their well-being. In the course of their exchange, problems of lack of land for the refugee to cultivate came up, reasons why they solely depend on international aid. The lack of potable drinking water was also raised by these people who have been forcefully pushed out of their country as a result of constant wars. Notwithstanding these problems, other refugees who have migrated into nearby villages are already working. Apart from listening to the refugees, the senior divisional officer for Baturi was also at the different frontiers into the Kadei to evaluate the level of security put in place, since it is from this border zone that the rebels get into the village to attack citizens. Over 17,000 refugees are found in each of the 3 camps dotted in the 5 villages the SDO has visited this far in his contact tour. Baturi and Gelenbam will be the 2 last stopover for Abubakar Iyawa as he continues his Meet the People tour.
And from the East region, we take you to the nation's capital to talk about the integration of contract and PTA teachers, which is still pending in Cameroon despite series of announcements made by the government. Many of them are already going on retirement but have never been recruited into the public service. The met in Yaoundé in a meeting organized today by syndicates of contract teachers. The various union leaders said that their working conditions is having an adverse impact on the output of the various contract and PTA teachers. They vow to boycott lessons come January 2018 when second term resumes if nothing is done at the level of the government or the Ministry of Public Service and Administrative Reforms. Now, businessmen and women in Edinawa in the southwest region of Cameroon can now heave a sigh of relief after the long-awaited market in the area was finally opened. Locals used to travel to Limbe sometimes to be able to buy their foodstuff. Davis Maimo in the following report begins by telling us that it took several minutes of prayers by a good number of men of God for the market to be open. His report.
Now, headquarters of West Coast Subdivision in Fako Division, Southwest Region, with half of its population being foreigners, is noted for witch hunting. Reason why opening of the market, the mayor to the Idina municipality, Tunde Gabriel, invited a battery of men of God from all the denominations present at Idina for a special ecumenical service at the market.
Those who are singing, praying, discussing to each other that this market will never go operational. Today their yoke has been broken in Jesus' name. And this market, as from today, the market will grow.
The clergies, after preaching and praying for peace, took time to sprinkle holy water around the market, calling and asking God to guide and protect the market. In his remarks, the divisional officer for Idina Subdivision, Ngai Ngong Stephen, assured the population of the security of the market.
And to assure the mayor that I'm besides you, to accompany you, to crack down all those law-abiding citizens who sees or think that they will use the structures here in a scrupulous manner. We are going to ensure the respect of the laws and regulations so that this market should prosper.
The women most especially say it is a great relief.
Yeah, it's very difficult. When you need to buy something very high, you need to go to Limbe before you can have that thing, which the transport cost is really high. So since they have brought the market here in Idina, we'll be very happy.
As they all express joy and happiness.
And officials of the Limbe City Council, where is in the southwest region, are mapping ways to construct an ultra-modern market in the city. That explains why the budget for the year 2018 at the Limbe City Council has witnessed a close to 2 billion francs CFA increase compared to that of 2017. Once again, let's have more with Davis Maimo.
Embellishing the city of Limbe in its totality and getting it ready for the 2019 African Cup of Nations is priority number 1 for the Limbe City Council. Consequently, stepping up the budget for 2018 from 7 billion CFA francs in 2017 to 9 billion 750 million CFA francs. According to the government delegate to the Limbe City Council, Motanga Andrew Mojimba, a standard and befitting ultra-modern market, which has been the cry of the people, shall be constructed.
In the 9 billion 750 million budgeted for this council in revenue and expenditure. We are expecting to have a loan from FECON of 2 billion 200 to build a multi-budget market for the city of Limbe. That is what has increased our budget from 7 billion to 9 billion.
Equally, the touristic, crowd-pulling and income-generating Limbe Festival of Art and Culture shall have a different face, given that it coincides with the 160th birthday of Limbe, formerly known as Victoria. However, the city of Limbe is not indifferent to the social unrest that has hit the two English regions of the country.
In very unmistaken terms, we vigorously condemn the use of violence in advocating for issues, no matter how pertinent these issues may be. Violence and destruction of public property really take us backwards in our development efforts.
Everything being equal, like doubting Thomases that many Cameroonians have become, the people of Limbe can only wait and pray for the earmark project to be realized.
That is Davis Imamo there reporting. Before we go, we indicate that security has once again been reinforced in Toko, that is a locality in the Yang Division Southwest region of Cameroon, following the gun battle between security forces and some unknown individuals. The incident occurred that was a few days ago. Reports say that military presence in the area has been intensified and that movements at night is under very strict controls. We equally have information that in there was equally confrontation today between security forces and some yet to be identified individuals. We are yet to bring to you the number of casualties. That brings us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. We thank you so much for joining us. Wishing you a blessed stay in the company of our programs until we meet again. Goodbye and stay tuned to programs on Equinox Television.